Hey all, today we're going to talk about something really simple, super duper simple. Sorry I'm maneuvering while on the phone. It's probably not the right thing to do, but I do it frequently. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about this bike. I'm working on a customer's bike today at the shop. Yep, that's us. Bike Things, Brockport, New York. This bike is a 2000s Gary Fisher. I think it's a Tarpon. Yep, I'm right. So what we got here? Let's turn this thing around. See this thing? This is an old Genesis 2. This is the before the full Trek rebranding. You know, with the hydroform tubing and all the fun shapes. This was a super cool line of mountain bikes in the early 2000s. But as you can see here, we have a new handlebar, some fresh grips, and some stuff. So this bike has started its life off as a cross-country mountain bike. Kind of a medium, lower level bike, you know, adjustable shock, but it's not air, it's not oil. It's got a freewheel on the rear, and it's got a 3x7 system on it. So this gentleman has owned this bike since it was new, and he was complaining about the fit. He was having some hand numbness, and he wasn't riding trails, and he's like, you know, I take this thing camping, and he's like, it's just not fun to ride anymore. And I said, why don't we fix it? So threw him on the bike, was looking at it, and he was, you know, had a straight handlebar on here. And though it had a riser stem, see how it comes up a little bit, and a lot of spacers, it was still, he was very forward leaning. So we talked about adjustable stems. Right, let's walk inside and talk about those. So there are, actually pause for a second. Alexa, off. They like to flag me if my radio's playing. So we're going to turn that off. So let's get back to this. We have adjustable stems. So what you have is a stem, let's sit up here, with an adjustment in the middle that you can loosen that screw up right there, and you can change the angle of the stem. Now, these come stock in a quill form, which is what that's called, on a lot of bikes. I don't think I have one here that has one. He's got one on there. So this guy's got one. So this is a more typical what you'd find on a lot of hybrids. And they come in different forms. This one has a little Allen wrench on the bottom and little teeth. And it gives you the ability to turn it up or down. Pretty easy, right? Because this has a 1 1/8" head tube, it has to clamp, and there's no height adjustment this way. So these are kind of fixed in a position, you know, where they are. So your options are something like this, and these range in all sorts of prices. I have this one currently for like $30. Pretty easy fix. They come in different lengths and different bar diameters, and obviously different fork sizes. So at that cost, which isn't bad at all, that's an easy fix. Most of the time, unless you go crazy and get a really long one, the cables all have enough room to move up, you know, where you can move the cables forward, back. On this bike, we decided to go a little bit cheaper. This handlebar is like a 6-inch rise steel bar. I saw these for like $18. I didn't even take the sticker off yet. Let's put it on there. I saw these for $18. The beauty of this is this handlebar is about 2 inches wider than the stock bar that came on here. So it's there to open your chest up and help you breathe better. But the bends are dramatically better. So this has a better feel. While doing so, we decided to put grips on it. These are the Vans Cult grips. Super grippy. They're made by ODI, but they're Vans insoles on your grips. These come a little long because they're made for BMX bikes with no brakes, so you just cut the flange, air it on. They got nice hard rubber ends for abuse, and it pretty much fixed this guy's problems. He rode it yesterday, and it pretty much nailed it for fit. He has no more hand pain. He is comfortable. One disclaimer is sometimes your seat will become an issue because now you're sitting more upright. Your butt is sitting on your sit bones directly on here, but this seat actually feels a little better in that shape where he's sitting than the other way. We did tilt it up one click, fixed all his problems. So while we were there, we threw a new cassette on, or not cassette, but a freewheel. New freewheel, and did a little bit of tuning. The bike is mint, rides awesome. He's super psyched. He's coming to pick it up today. And I figured I'd shoot a little video before he does so that you can see how easy that really is. So, you could, on most bikes, swap that bar out yourself. I use an air compressor to blow grips on and off so that you don't need them to dry. You're not using a chemical that's going to soften the grip. This is actually the grip that I use. These Cult BMX grips are super tacky. And like I said, there's a gum wall version. Do you see that? So good. And you can match pedals. Same thing, like he could have done, a red pedal to match that. Point in time, we might still convince him to do that because that pedals that he has are kind of chintzy. But you figure depending on what the shop's going to charge you for labor to switch the stuff over, that's still a really cheap option. I don't charge in our service department, which is backwards because I'm on a phone. I don't charge install on accessories. And you could debate on whether or not a handlebar is considered an accessory or not. In this case, that I didn't charge for install because I consider it an accessory. He didn't need it. It wasn't like a very detailed thing, and it took about 5 minutes to swap that. So that was not very expensive to do. The grip's free install. That's just how our shop works. Your shop might charge you something. They probably will, realistically. And the price of the bars might vary depending on what kind of bar they buy. That is an inexpensive steel bar that should have a little bit of flex to it. So his hands should feel better even on a bumpy trail. He's not jumping it. He is not racing it. He is literally on the canal. The Erie Canal is like, you could throw a rock from here to it. So we get a lot of people that use that. So that bike now is pretty much perfect for towny and like canal path. Rails and trails would be easy, a piece of cake. I will probably do a video one day and we'll talk about geometry and why mountain bikes bars are as low as they are. It's not aerodynamics. We'll talk about that in a different video. But for today, that was that gentleman's Gary Fisher tarpon and how we inexpensively swapped out that bar. And it made a huge difference on a bike that he probably would have tried to sell at a yard sale for $25. So enjoy.
Nothing.